I don't want to waste your time, so there won't be an intro.
They knew it back on Lair. And Unwanted in this round just do not have the tools, as you say, to get the job done. Selmas might work for one, it won't work for the rest. Dream nets himself for 2K, the hero of Boston. Going big when required. I say required, it wasn't really needed to be fair to him. They're in a 5v1. Absolutely dominating Raza Company Academy since they sort of figured things out after round one. Yes, they fell a little bit short for the next 2 rounds, but since then they're forced all their way back in. And there's not a lot that Raza Company Academy have got to offer, I'm afraid.
I'm going to set the scene. It's February the 14th. Dream, Houghton, Gaveni, Spirits, Atten, the Unwanted team on the miracle run through the 6 Invitational, North America's only hope, are playing on the main stage at the MGM Grand Music Hall of Fenway Park in Boston. It's February the 14th. It's Valentine's Day. There's so much love going on from the crowd to this team. They've won map 1. If they win map 2, they advance through to tomorrow to the semi-final Saturday. And they're defending out Bunks and Briefing. Now, when we went through the OXG Bunks and Briefing defense, we said it was basically 1 player on site, 4 above. Now, Unwanted, the reason that I wanted to highlight this round is a little bit unusual. You don't normally see teams play it in this method because they still do the one below, in this case Dream, who's on the bandit to bandit trick. He is sitting inside of sight. The remaining 4 players are going to be setting themselves up with vertical onto the site and shotguns and barbed wire at close range. This is all, in my opinion, actually very, very, very default. Where it gets exciting though, and I'm going to switch into free cam to show you this, because where it gets exciting, and I get nerded out a little bit, being honest, is the presence of the mirror. Now there's 2 mirror windows that Hot and Cold sets up. And I believe it's a mid-round setup. There we go. A mid-round setup. Mirror window number 1. Here, inside of the office. Now, this holds the hallway. Because if you're in the hallway, obviously you see the mirror window peek first, but you see a mirror window, which means full information. And it also holds the office breach. So that's mirror window number 1. Let's go through to mirror window number 2, which I think is even better mirror window. It's inside of the display room facing into the connector. Now, what happens is this mirror window holds the bathroom and bathroom hallway walk up. It holds anybody that walks down the mezzanine hallway but into the office. Obviously, if this mirror window's gone, it also holds this long line of sight here. And then also say that people are pushing through and it's attack coming in from this side. It holds this rotate here. Very, very strong because safe from vertical. That's the big thing to note about that mirror window. It is safe from vertical. It is all hard floor around here. So actually 2 very, very, very strong mirror windows. And as long as Unwanted play compact enough, which obviously I'm showing the best round in my opinion, they do, then it's going to be super, super, super strong. As you can see, a breach goes off here. And it's going to be against Raza Company Academy, who again, quite a good utility team, quite a good execute team. But they did not problem solve this one particularly well whatsoever. Now look at the locations. Let me switch back into a top-down perspective of this. So if you look at the locations of how this plays, Atom and Gav play on top of each other. And they play this. They play in this scenario because the only real threat to this mirror window is when this player is engaged and he's wanting to shoot people, you know, whichever way he does it, he's wanting to shoot people, is if an attacker hops in and swings him, right? That would be a good 3-2-1 scenario. So in this strategy, actually, they, Unwanted, they have Atom be responsible for that window hopping, also playing a Legion, which is great because you can just put a Legion behind the window. And then Gav is actually free to then just play however he wants. In reality, I'll be honest, I would probably put a better gun there, maybe. I would maybe have Hot... it's kind of hard. I don't know who I would have there out of all of this. But the Warden, maybe not, because he's playing SMG 12 and what I can presume is a shotgun on some quite long-range engagements, but more to come on that. But yeah, so these 2 players, Atom and Gaveni, are responsible solely for this mirror window and all the routes that it covers, and Atom is therefore responsible for the window hopping. Spirits is playing close shotgun over here by the north side. Again, it's one of them hallways that it lends itself so good to that shotgun. And then Hotton is linking with Spirits if needed and playing this mirror window. So we watch how it plays out. You can see how passively Hotton's playing it as well. He's just playing an angle, playing it quite aggressively. Playing it quite passively, sorry, not aggressively. As the attack starts to come in. Look at this shot by Giveni, by the way. SMG 12. Yep, no bother. Good night to Passetto there. Very, very good. Very, very nice. Now, again, Raz Company Academy, they're going to try and walk on. They're going to try and walk on these guys. They're using the direct calls. They're trying to execute up on the top floor. STK thinks, oh, do you know what? I'll walk up the hallway. Doesn't really think about any utilities to try and help him. Doesn't think about a 3-2-1 with a guy jumping in. Sees a mirror window. Well, guess who's now going to get aggressive with that mirror window? That's going to be Giveni. Picks up a second kill. He has a little pop out for the buck. It never actually transpires. But again, really, really good work. And at this point, because the mirror window has been breached, and that's how Giveni gets his first kill, was the ace was trying to breach the mirror window, so he had an ace charge in hand. That first mirror window up here is a little bit irrelevant because this mirror window is so strong. Hotton can now just be a link player. So he can link for if there's a bathroom hop in and somebody tries to... Ultimately, what Hotton's holding here is if somebody does that routing to go and punch the mirror window, Hotton's now got it from the angle that he's holding through. So you've now got two people holding, so Giveni can just be the star man. You've got Hotton holding his doorway here. You've got Atom still holding his display cabinet window here. And then you've got Giveni playing the mirror window. It is so super strong. And Spirits, again, still playing the shotgun up top. And as you can see, Perez is going to now try and peek and peek and peek and peek. Shits himself, runs away. Live tries to peek, shits himself, runs away. And at this point, this is a really good read. And it's a really good read by Dream himself. Because he knows, hey, they're not playing through the utility. We retain top floor control. They're not going to now go and clear Spirits and Hotton and everybody else. They just don't have the utility or the manpower to try and do it. And what that means, actually, is that they're going to hit site. They're now going to resort to plan B. I said it before when I did the OXG one, but there's two ways to attack this. You can either do the full clear and clear out the top floor, or you can hit site and hope that you can get the plant down without the verticals seeing that you will get the plant down and denying that. Plan A has not worked. Plan A has not worked at all for Raz Company Academy. And as such, Dream gets very active. You notice how he's not playing cams here. He's not playing any kind of support role. He's getting active. He knows he's about to get pushed on site because it's the only option that Raz Company have left. So what does he do? He gets proactive. Gets the first kill. And then he's going to go and then try and hold another angle on the other side of site. Because again, what would you be doing if you was an attacker here? With those three guys alive, you would be thinking, hey, let's try and 3v1 the guy on site or 3v2, whatever. Let's try and get ourselves onto site, push site fast, and then get a plant down where they can't see us from there and try and figure that scenario out later. Dream gets proactive in one scenario, gets proactive in two scenarios, and all that leaves up to is then Perez, who is honestly late to the punch to try and do the hit in sight element of this. Is still out the building, but in the end, he will then get taken out. I believe it's Spirits that takes him out. And again, Dream's calling at this point, hey guys, they're hitting site. Giveni drops. Spirits is coming down the stairs. Hotton drops. Atom drops. Everybody at this point, they've abandoned the top floor. Obviously, it's a 5v1, but they've abandoned the top floor, reinforced site. He's got to walk in a doorway. In the end, he does walk in the doorway here, and I do believe it is Spirits that will finish him off. And there it is. Unreal round from Unwanted, I will say. They created a strategy that was maybe a little bit different. They created a problem for Raz Company Academy to try and solve. Raz Company Academy did not solve that problem whatsoever. It won them the round. But then, like I say, especially from Dream, really good understanding of the phase of the round that Raz Company Academy were going to adapt and were going to change their strategy on the fly to just go and hit site. Gets double aggressive and makes sure that that is just not happening whatsoever. That round was really, really good from a strategical point of view, from an understanding point of view. And actually, being honest, those types of rounds, that is maybe where this map was won in this round, because it was so confident. It would have given this team so much confidence that they had Raz Company Academy. They knew exactly what was going on, and they were better than them in that moment on that day. So yeah, beautiful round from Unwanted though.
double. Uno finds Maya and G2 back in the driving seat on this attack. They can smell blood in the water. They know that this one is potentially theirs for the taking. They've got the time to take a pause here, Des. They can just think about it. They can reset. They can go back to that plan of getting the diffuser down.
They've got all these drones available to them as well. They are certainly in no rush is the key thing. And this is the real test of a team now. When you've got this man advantage, you've got a bit of time to play with. How do you react? We've seen a lot of teams slow things down, get back on the drones, push forward as a team and get things closed out. But when you've got Blaz on side, who's having a wonderful day so far, just send him in and go and kill. It's a classic G2 strat. Blaz, go kill, and it seems to be working every time. Lagonis has had a good couple of clutches back on Lair. On Chalet, I don't think he's had quite the same joy. It'd be a great time to start that trend now.
Yeah, I kind of feel for Lagonis here. I'm not really sure what the plan is from the bottom of West Main. Maybe he finds one, but they know exactly where he's coming from. Blaz cuts him down. It was always going to be a big ask in a 1v3 to go up the stairs.
One round I loved from G2 Esports was back in groups when they played up against Team Liquid. Now, obviously, G2 went absolutely flawless in groups, so they won every map. We know that they win this map. This is the map of Chalet. Now, Liquid are defending Dining and Kitchen. Now, when you defend Dining and Kitchen, the general strategy that teams will go for is they will either full clear or half clear. They will either full clear the top floor, try and play the verticals and then plant inside of the site, or they will half clear and they will take control of basically up to mezzanine by taking control of library, and then take control of bar so they can breach and then plant behind the bomb chassis. When you do that, all you need to do is kill this player here inside of this box and deny the defender being on this vert. So G2 actually choose to full clear this, and it's based off a great drone from Loira. So you can see the locations that G2 are in. Doki's playing top blue stairs, Uno's got himself into lobby, Alamal's got himself into mezzanine, Blaz's lobby. I think at this point it's going to be a half clear and they just need to kill Maya, and as soon as they kill Maya, that's absolutely fine, and they can then go for the plan with Uno in lobby on the Thermite. However, in the end, what G2 end up going for is they end up going for a full clear. So if you look at the positions, we've got Maya on the vertical, we've got Nesk, Palu, and Resets all supporting on the top floor, and just Lagonis inside of currently West Main. So as we roll this through, we can see that Doki's going to try breaching onto the wall here, tucked inside. Maya's going to rotate himself off out of the vertical. So the conditions are now in place for G2 to execute a half clear. However, Loira's going to get himself on a drone, and this is where, when G2 talk about the fact that Uno is the IGL, but other people can opportunity spot and can seek things, Uno's plan, I think, in reality, is to half clear and to plant through on the B-bomb chassis. But Loira gets himself on his drone, goes in bathroom, and Maya has actually been downed here. We'll just check where Maya's been downed in a second. But on Loira's drone, he sees piano is clear. He sees bathroom is clear. And oh, when he jumps it in here, he sees 3 defenders. That is the trigger point. Because when you're doing a full clear, very often what will happen is the defenders will get themselves back downstairs. They'll get themselves, you know, if we go into a top-down perspective, they'll get themselves inside of Trophy. They'll get themselves inside of West Main, Red Hall, Kitchen, Dining. They'll disappear, they'll scarper, and they'll completely clear. Because as the attack is putting all of its investment and utility into the top floor, they're not putting anything into the middle floor. So defenders usually have free movement. They can even go and drop the hatch, flank back up blue stairs, flank back up main stairs. Like, there's so much a defender can do. As a trigger point, when you see a cluster of 3 defenders and you know that the Warden is not one of them, and you know the Warden's also up here, that's a trigger point. Let's go and kill them. And we need to act fast because we need to get into their face, because we've got a minute 15. If we do a full clear and they get back down, we're not going to win this round. So G2 has to act very, very clinically. So you can see here, Doki and Alamal are now in a position where they can push through bathroom. They can push through closet because they're trying to get these kills. And you can see Uno on the side of your screen. He's going to be scarpering to get to trophy window to try and cut these guys off quickly. So this all happens very, very quickly. Just before that, we're going to check how Maya gets injured, because he does manage to rotate himself off. He's still crawling at this point. Sorry for the loud noises. He's going to get caught on the breach. I'm going to guess it's Alamo at this point. Yes, it is. Injures him. So Alamau injures him. Loira's about to start droning. And then what we'll do is we'll go back into a top-down perspective just to show this. Because this is opportunity seeking. This is not pre-planned. And that's where, when G2 talk about it, Uno sets the base. Loira has called this. Alamau, Doki have done it without hesitation. It's an excellent round from them, all in all. See, Alamau's in front of where the breach is going off right now. They both get themselves into piano, and let's go into 0.5 times speed from here. We'll watch it strictly from a top-down perspective first. Doki's going to push bathroom, that he knows is then clear. And Alamau's going to push closet. And what actually happens is, Doki makes a YOLO call. And you can see here, so Alamau will die to Maya's shotgun. Doki makes a YOLO call, and it's a brave call. It could have gone horribly wrong. Doki dies here, and everyone's like, what the hell is going on? Thinking he's quite shit. But it actually works out really well. He drops, finds one. Changes secondary, hip fires the second, gets traded back out. At the same time that this has happened, Maya's playing close shotgun for Alamau, gets the kill, and then gets traded out by who I believe is going to be either Blaz or Uno. It's going to be Uno. Trades him back out. So we're now in a 3v2 scenario, and it literally all exploded out of absolute nowhere. So Reset's managed to get himself back down, but the other two didn't. Maya's now dead. It's a 3v2 to G2. And now they just need to go, and they need to figure out how do we then kill these two players. So Blast has the vertical. Uno now has a choice of where he goes, so you can see him get back on drone, and Loira's outside West Main. So G2 at this point, they have multiple options, and that's why they made that play. They can now start working vertically to kill these guys, because Reset's very likely is under some kind of vert here. Because when you look at this map, it's all vertical based. Like all of Trophy, all of West Main, all of Site is completely able to be destroyed above on the roof. So Resets is not potentially safe. And Lagonis is down on the bottom floor. They don't actually know that Lagonis has slipped down here. But G2, if they wanted to, they can play vertically. They can then reconvert this into a half clear because Blast has control of verticals, and Uno can now just go and plan, go and breach and go and plant if he so chooses to. There's not really anything to stop him. So G2 now have to have that 10-15 seconds of refiguring out. You see Loira has droned out Resets there, and we'll just go back very quickly on Resets POV. He drones out Resets on Trophy Stairs, and that is going to be that. For Resets, he's going to play inside a Trophy. I am assuming for a C4, if you look at based on the Solarium cam still being up, he's got a C4 in his hand. As it is, G2 are just going to play the waiting game. And I think it's very, very smart from them because of the positions that they're playing. They can now choose to go and collapse onto Resets, or whilst they're still in the waiting phase, Resets can make a play and can die, and that's ultimately what happens. Blaz is just holding the red hole. Because Resets can't leave as long as Blast has this angle. He tries to leave, he gets wallbanged. 3 versus 1. And I think that's very, very smart because at this moment in time, when Resets gets seen, Loira's clearly was going up to have a look at how he could get into bathroom window. Maybe Uno would have gone with him and they would have tried to pinch that guy. Because that's the best thing that you can do in a 3 versus 2 is try and find that 3 versus 1 pinch. Even if you trade it out, you then get a 2 versus 1, you can trade that out, right? So that's where their line of thinking will have been. Anyway, they get the kill. Blast picks up the freebie because Resets tries to get himself out of a pretty tricky scenario that he's found himself in. And now what it's about is it's about finding that final player. Uno at this point has now droned out all of Site. He's checked it all. He knows Site's clear. So when you're in this scenario, you know Site's clear. You know top floor's clear because you've just cleared it with Blaz and the whole team. You've got your flank drones set up that's being watched by Alamau and Doki. You can see gaming room and blue hallway. So Alamau is on this cam here. Doki's on this cam. So they can't be being flanked. So the only places that G2 at the minute do not know about is lobby. And they do have a drone here. Or basement. So you take an assumption that Lagonis is in basement. Obviously he is in the basement. He could have been like West Main as well. You see that Uno's set his drone up now inside a Trophy. They just need to go and hit the site. And Uno knows that Trophy into Site is going to be the safest way to do that. They will know if Lagonis has gone upstairs, again, because of all of these flank drones and this coverage here. And as such, what happens? Lagonis challenges Loira. out there on the main stairs, on west main stairs, sorry. And it's actually Blaz who ends up getting the kill. But in this scenario, Blaz and Loira are just going to try and create as much noise so Uno gets the plant and you can play post plant. And as it is, Blaz gets him as he swings around the corner pre-firing. This is a great example of the way G2 play, how it can go from structured to chaotic within a second and then back to structured within a second. And it's a real advantage. If G2 can kind of perfect that within their gameplay, they will be one of the best attacking teams in the world.
And now Palu's called out of position as well. As soon as they know where he is, he's going to be a dead man walking. He looks to get aggressive. A pre-fire from Noodle. 3 for him on the round so far. Information still in the hands of Liquid.
Oh, no.
You can't be missing those, Palu. Mentalist is not even needed. It's the 2 Europeans.
Team Joel did not have a successful 6 Invitational whatsoever. They did not win a map. They did not win a fixture. They crashed out in groups and put on a pretty poor account of themselves, in all honesty. Obviously, they were real, but looking for a successful round from them was pretty difficult to do. And actually, I'm going to go all the way back to the very first round of the 6 Invitational that they played up against Liquid. Now, they actually pull off what's I would consider quite a weird attack for Cafe. So they're attacking Cafe top floor. Now, normally when you attack Cafe top floor, what you're looking to do is you get 2 choices, and I'll go full top down to kind of show this a bit better. So Cafe top floor is just a series of squares within one big square, right? It's quite linear, it's quite simple. Now, the first conventional attack involves taking top green, taking shop, taking piano, and then, if I do a circle, once you've got all of that control, you kind of get 5 lines of sight that you can then use to your advantage to then ultimately hold down all of those angles and then look for a plant either in trash or in default. And that's the very first conventional attack that you can do. Now, if you're going to then do a bit of an alternate attack, you then look to take control of Cocktail. And basically, you only look to take control of Cocktail, Heaven, and then White Hallway, ultimately. And the way that you do that is you then play window, 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 and then maybe 1 or 2, like maybe 1 skylight and 1 below. And then the big factor for that is you need to kill the player that's sitting inside of Cocktail, and then you're looking for a plan here by the default position. Now, Joel don't actually do either of that, because what they've assessed is actually going default 1, going west side across, is very, very hard. Palu's here with a shield, he's got mute jammers, reinforcements, castle barricades, so much protection. And even if they do that, they've then got to play through 2 mirror windows, 1 inside a freezer, 1 inside a bathroom. Is that soft? It might be on a soft wall, I don't know. It might just be the replay bugging out, to be honest. But either way, 2 mirror windows inside a bathroom, and there's castle barricades, and you can see next to Nesk there, 1 eye protection as well. So it's a utility fortress on the west side. Now on the east side, there's not actually a lot. An east side take could be doable. However, entry into the building is going to be very, very hard. The reason being is Lagonis stops any swing in terms of Cocktail. Well, first of all, they've got to clear the castle barricade on Cocktail, but Lagonis stops any swinging into Cocktail. They've got mute jammers there to protect him as well, which means things like Grims are not going to go off. Any utility is not going to go off inside of that mute jammer. And also, the big factor that stops any repel in, because when you want to do this side take, you want to repel in and you want to go there. But the problem to do that is the way that Liquid are playing the rotates here. You can see Resets has a very safe angle to hold that repel in and has 1 eye magnets. So, what did Team Joel do? Well, instead of attacking west and instead of attacking east, they actually attack south. The way that they do this is they've got Reaps with nades. What he's going to do is he's going to repel in and basically look to take control and take 1v1 engagements. This is facilitated by the fact that Leader over here can Grim in and Grim basically all of this circle, and then Mentalist, who's down here, can then control the staircases by just being on the window with Blackbeard. So that when Reaps then repels in, he just has to look left because the only thing in front of him is a castle barricade. So this is a gap that Joel have identified, and Reaps is then going to be supported by Noodle on the upside down repel, who holds lines of sight into here. So it's a very, very clever take so far to get the entry engagement. If we show this, check it's in full speed. Yep. If we now show this, Reaps is going to flash and then throw. He actually throws a flash that triggers a Whammy magnet, and Nesk knows that that's coming, right? So they know Nesk is there. Nesk is then trying to get away. What happens? Noodle gets the kill on the upside down rappel on that cutoff. That's a really, really good start for Team Joel. At the same time, so Nesk will get downed, but at the same, he actually gets killed. At the same time, Resets peeks up the hatch, gets killed into Hoven. I think Hoven here was just trying to hold any kind of runbacks that might have been happening or anything like that. Let's say Nesk tried to go all the way back through the rotate, and Hoven gets taken down. But what this means actually is Team Joel now control all the south side. So Resets, actually very, very smart player, goes and thinks, hey, I need to retake the control of this mirror window. I need to retake this position. I think he actually tries to get a bit too slippy with it. I think he tries to get back to Pixel and steal himself a freebie, but Noodle's still holding that cutoff, and Noodle will take him down. What that creates a situation of now is a 4 versus 3 scenario for Team Joel, where they've got entry into the building. Mentalist came in the same time as Reaps. Noodle's now gone in, and they've got control, but it's only of the south side. And they've done step 2 of both of the conventional attacks without having done step 1 of either of them. It's quite clever, really. So the first conventional attack where you take top red and shop, they haven't done the first step of taking top red and shop, but they have done the second step of taking control of freezer, piano, white hallway. And then the same for the cocktail attack. If you're going to do a cocktail attack, you need to kill the cocktail player and then take control of white hallway and planks and freezer. They've got control of white hallway and planks and freezer, but they've not got control of cocktail, which means actually still forming an attack from here in a 4 versus 3 is still quite hard because they've not got a lot of utility, if any utility. Hoven's dead. Noodle has no impacts left. Mentalist can, in theory, use his Blackbeard breach. Leader can't destroy any castle barricades. Reaps can't destroy any castle barricades. So they're very segmented. If you look at this, they can't get to the north side of the building whatsoever. So they can't get to basically any of this without crossing a line of sight. And what is all of that? That's all of the bomb site. So it was a nice and creative entry, but now they're facing a big utility problem. And as long as Liquid hold their nerve, Joel are really going to struggle. They've only got 4 drones on side. They can't really do a lot. Some of these drones are, not in the most optimal positions either. And if you look at this, Palu's still got a load of utility that he can go and sit behind. He can just maintain shot control and leave his other 3 teammates to worry about what? 2 angles? Realistically, from a Liquid point of view, you need to worry about this long angle through to freezer from C1. And then you need to worry about the long angle from C1 all the way down to Mentalist. If Palu just controls the west, and he can, because he's got mute jammers, because he's got utility, because he's got a shotgun at close quarters, Palu actually is in quite a bad position here. He really should just go and sit himself back on the shield. I realise why he doesn't, because he thinks, well, what if they then open the castle from the inside, whatever. But, we have the benefit of hindsight here. So let's roll this through, and then what we're going to see is actually Reaps here is going to get aggressive onto Maya and try and make a pick happen. It's a pretty common angle in all fairness, the C1 to the freezer angle, and we're going to see Reaps end up losing this fight. Maya's going to get that pick. So 3 versus 3. It's now a tricky scenario because, again, the only fighting that really can happen is through these 2 doorways. So it's this way, and then it's this way. There's no utility that anybody's got, realistically, from the point of view of Joel, to make anything happen. Lagonis actually makes, in my opinion, a bit of a bad positional play here. Lagonis, again, can just chill under the skylight, chill somewhere in sight, chill wherever, chill between the 2 bar doors, whatever. There's an assumption here because they know the Grimm's going off outside, they know Noodle's inside, they know the Blackbeard is inside, that nobody's on the skylight because they've killed the skylight player, so they can chill a bit safer. But Lagonis makes a very aggressive play. Noodle sees him, but can't kill him because it's a bit of a tricky gunfight. He knows he's there, and therefore, if we allow this back to play out, what's actually going to happen is Noodle's going to go and rotate above, and he's going to go and kill him from the skylight, because Lagonis is obviously playing in direct line of sight of the skylight. actually, Joel played this badly because nobody's actually holding Lagonis' runaway. Lagonis could have just wandered in and retaken Barback storage. He could have retaken Freezer. Nobody's actually holding it at this point in time. Mentalist is sitting very passive, and Leader's holding angles into Piano as Noodle is rotating off. Anyway, they don't get punished for it. That's the good thing for Team Joel. They don't get punished for this mistake. In the end, Noodle picks up the kill. They're still facing the same problem, though, with 20 seconds left, in that they've got to push west or east. They've still got to do step 1 of that attack, and they've not done it yet. Which means, as long as Liquid hold their nerve, which they don't, that they will... that Team Joel, you know, are really going to struggle to attack it, because they've got to push either still the freezer doorway, the cocktail doorway, or a late push into the west. Now, Palu again could sit in all of his utility, and all Maya has to do is actually be responsible for cocktail. He doesn't have to worry about this freezer door. Why is that? Well, if I go into free cam, I can show you. The default cam's on. It sees freezer, and therefore, because the right freezer door is castled, Palu controls the west. He controls all of this. The only place they can push without people knowing is this cocktail door. And therefore, Maya needs to control the cocktail door. What does he control? Well, not the cocktail door. He's holding, for some reason, shop, as is Palu. So, bad defensive read by these two. And in the end, what ends up happening is as Noodle drops the red hatch, and again, if we go to Noodle's point of view, he starts pre-firing things. He doesn't know where people are. He's just pre-firing things. So Palu could be absolutely anywhere, behind the shield, in the shop, as it is. He's playing towards Shaiko. Leader now gets seen on a camera. And they therefore know that somebody has gone long bar. So Palu turns his attention back away from the noise he just heard on Noodle. And he's going to try and kill Leader. Ends up whiffing. And Palu's absolutely bottled this. He could have had a free 1v1 onto Noodle with a shotgun at close range. He could have C4'd the guy that was seen on a cam, or he could have shot him, and he messed up all 3 of those scenarios. So in the end, the best round that Joel did came down to Liquid mistakes, but what I will say is the closeout of this round is pretty good. They know where Palu is because he's just shot at Leader. Mentalist at this point has got control of Cocktail, and as such, the only place that Maya can be, who's playing it, again, super passively. Palu's gone aggressive. Maya's gone passive. He has to be Heaven. Noodle takes him out. And at the same time, Palu's now tried running away. And that's going to be the kill that Leader gets. Team Joel take the very first round on Cafe. And realistically, it wasn't even that good a round. Obviously, it was quite hard to find anything great from Joel at the whole event. But I did like how they problem solved to get the entry kill into the south side. It was very, very creative and it was well executed. And then they held their nerve better than Team Liquid.
Grand final again. They want to lift the hammer this time round.
Candelas and Smokes all entirely chugged through and they were ready for Maya! Maya still wins it out and they are exploding across the side itself. Ness tears the head off for one, follows through for the second, and well, you call for LMGs and there's another excellent demonstration of their position in the right hands. Cyber, we said we wanted to see more. He's got a first fight to his right, he's missed. Oh, he somehow still wins it, and there he is. An initial kill, but a post-plant. With the vertical fight, with everything watched and locked down here, Liquid. You'd say there's no way they'd lose this.
Team Liquid was another team that had a miserable 6th Invitational. I think we'll see, post-SI changes from them, whatever's going to happen. They did actually end up taking a map off the World Champions phase plan. They did play in the playoffs, but this was ultimately the game that eliminated them. And actually, quite liked this play. This is going to be quite a short one, so buckle in. But the site itself is going to be the train, so dining and mining, I think is the actual official term for it. You can see that actually both of the dining walls are reinforced off and caded. There's a player playing inside of train. Vita King is playing inside of reading. And then the rest of the FaZe Clan players are upstairs. You've got a player playing inside of Pixel, a player in Freezer, and a player in C1. Now, curious on this Frostmat location here, rather than this Frostmat location here, which could have been the be-all and end-all. Anyway, what is Liquid's plan? Well, they have discovered this, and they've gone with what I believe to just be a pocket play that they would do just to execute out there onto site and just try and get a plant down. And I think maybe the trigger for that is the fact that they've seen this wall be reinforced because they're looking for a plant inside of dining. It never actually ends up occurring in the actual play, but yeah. So we've got Nesk out here on the balcony who's going to make a right ruckus with the Ying. He's going to start throwing candelas and all sorts of smokes into here. At the same time, Lagonis, who's currently outside on the east balcony here, is going to go south. He's going to rappel into dining. Maya is going to go into the heaven window, which is why a frostmat there would have been incredible. I think Resets is going to walk pillar, and then Palu ends up walking, I believe, up red stairs and walking onto site. So I'm going to play it out for just a little bit, and we'll go top down, and then we'll end up into a 3-2-1, and we'll go slow-mo on this. So it's just some pressure. Obviously, at this point, Liquid obviously still need to go and get the hatches, open them up. Palu actually walks top red. Never mind. When I was correcting myself. Now, if you look at what's going on and the utility that's going to be in play, you've got Yin Candelas. You're going to have a Dokubi call. You're going to have an Amaru. You're going to have an Ash walking and a Nook silent stepping. Or not silent stepping, but, you know, walking without being able to be seen on any of the cameras. So if we go into 0.5 times speed, you can see that Palu will Ash charge the top red. Lagonis has got his call online. I don't actually know if he uses it. He must use it. No, he doesn't. He doesn't use it whatsoever. But Nesk is creating a ruckus, like I said. Throwing candelas in. And ultimately, the goal of this, for this attack, is that if this player, Handy, can be distracted, which he's about to be, because there's going to be a whole load of Yin Candelas going off around him and smokes and all sorts of stuff going on here, then what you facilitate is Lagonis can rappel in and plant. And the idea being is that Resets, who's up at the top of your screen here, walks onto this guy. And Vita King's very, very proactive in this scenario, so actually gets the kill onto Lagonis. But it all works out pretty well. And as all of this is going on within the split second of the 3-2-1, you're also, again, Maya's probably about to be mid-air at this point. Palu is Ash charge top red and is going to walk in. Distraction, distraction, backstab, distraction, planter. And that's how it's supposed to be. Now, we're going to have to show it again because it all happens so fast. There's just going to be a flurry of kills, but I'll show it. Lagonis rappels in. Vita King takes him out. At the same time, Maya has gone in. Vita King then pushes through for the diffuser. Yin Candela's going off. Yin Candela's going off. Nesk is going to find Vita King. Then Nesk is going to find Handy. And then it's a 4 versus 1. It's a really, really nice pocket play. And again, the kills that we missed. And again, God knows why the Frost of Souls didn't put a frost mat on that window and decided to put it C1 instead. Because obviously, the Amaru's in. And in reality, had absolutely no business winning that fight. But again, distraction to allow the movement of resets. So the Frost at this point, from Souls, isn't holding the walk-in. Look, he wants to. Then he hears the Amaru. And he's holding that instead. Again, shouldn't lose this fight, but does. Whatever. Distraction from Palu. So that nobody is down holding any verticals or anything like that. Gets the distraction. Gets the kill. And clears himself out. And then Nesk actually does bits here. In terms of finding 2 kills. First kill. Second kill. So everything is for a rhyme and a reason. And the only person to die was Lagonis. He's now on the cameras. And obviously, it's all now left up to Cyber, who is the only one that hasn't really been walked on. In the end, as we push this through, he ends up finding 1. But he's chasing ghosts. He's chasing shadows at this point. I think he finds the guy on white stairs. Yep. Again, a terrible gunfight and a terrible engagement. But he does find him. And in the end, he drops down and he will get finished off because he's trying to retake back into the site. And there's the final kill for Nesk. Liquid, very, very creative pocket play there. And this site is not played much in ranked, but if it is, this is definitely a strat that you could do and go on. Like I say, it's only really, though, facilitated if the defense do reinforce these walls. If they don't reinforce these walls, then the strat changes because you have all of the white stairs area here to consider and a walk up and a hold. But because that was reinforced off and caded, that's what made this play. And that's a great example from Liquid of seeing something, having the trigger point, doing the strat, and then having distractions for each of the players and going on a 3-2-1. It was genuinely very excellently executed.
Spoit on the board, so M80 has a good shot. The smoke of Palu will swing Gunner, losing the duel. Now a double lineup on the same door. Spoit almost handles both of them, but only does a little bit of damage. Now he's on the ground, and that sidearm is so good. Down goes 2 of them. Spoit almost single-handedly winning this round for M80. It pushes resets into an awkward position as now Palu is tagged in, walking up Packer with impunity, trying to get the diffuser down, but realizes he doesn't have an opening, but Spoit's there for the quad kill. It's him and resets with Packer holding on to that diffuser. Spoit just waiting for it, and how about an ace to send the map away into the win column for M80. The Swede has been quiet all series, but he comes alive.
Whilst the playoffs for M80, for obvious reasons, didn't go particularly well, the group stage did. After M80 lost to G2, they actually went on and they played really, really good Siege across the group stage. Now, we're in the game against Team Liquid for them, and we're looking at a CEO top floor attack. Now, the way that teams generally will attack CEO top floor is they will look to either push east across from the admin, and when you do that, you're looking for a plant position, usually here on the doorway of the office there. Or teams will look to do a west side clear where you take yellow stairs and you take CEO, and then you're looking for a plant usually inside a CEO. Sometimes you can do a little bit cheesy plant on connector, but yeah, there's generally the 2 main approaches. The approach that M80 are going to take here is they're going to take, obviously, as we can see inside where the people are, they're going to take control of admin, which they've got. So I'm going to flip it. Actually, I'm going to watch it from this side. We'll stay in the north side perspective. They've got the breach out there onto the meeting balcony where Palu is, and they're going to take admin. Now, when you take admin, what you need is you ultimately need to control the following zones. You need to control long desk. You need to control, you don't need to be in, but you need to control this area in the meeting hallway here. Obviously, you will control all of this area. They're kind of the 3 places that you can because once you control them, you can now plant here because you can cover from this meeting hallway a big line of sight here that covers anybody from a depender point of view. If I put them in yellow, if they're swinging around trying to deny the plant, and again, if you control long desk area in this meeting hallway, you control defender aggression back in. And you can control the defender flanks back up the Vita stairs. So that's all you need. You actually only need, what, 2 or 3 rooms? Now, you can see already that there's no defender presence here. This side of the map is being completely given to the attackers. You can see them droning it out. You can see them trying to take it. They've got coffin, they've got break room, they've got long desk, whatever it is. Now, the one blip on this, I'll be honest, is Diffuser is trying to be a little bit of a backstab. Not be a backstab, but like kind of cause a little bit of carnage around yellow stairs. And the reality is, Spoit's droned these guys and seen that they're kind of far inside of meeting. So what's going to happen is they're going to try and very quickly take this ground to give themselves as long as possible to execute. And the theory is, if I go into a little bit more of a top-down perspective, you can see Diffuser and Packer here. They're going to drop and go in the top spiral window, and they're going to take it quickly with the blitz. Because once you control top spiral, and as you can see, Diffuser just sent a florist drone there as well. Once you control top spiral, you control long desk, especially when the long desk is shot out. No defender can be playing there. And of course, you can see that there is a drone that sees that as well. Spoit and Kino know that all of this side is clear, so they can get the hallway for free. There's another drone here to make sure nobody's playing vending. Liquid are giving them all of this map control, and therefore for these guys, it's important they take it. The one blip on this attack in my mind is actually that Resets gets this kill for free. He's actually shooting at the Blitz. He kills Diffuser. It is what it is. The Blitz of Packer gets himself into top spiral. So, all in all, mission complete with the objective taken. Now, this is why this attack is very, very good for me. So, with the new sense tech, with the fact that it goes down and it goes back up and you can control that, you can see this sense line. What's that doing? Well, it's stopping anybody inside of meeting being able to see the cross of any of the attackers running up and down this hallway, right? So Spoit is able to, if he so chooses, he's able to run up and down the hallway, allowing him freedom of movement wherever he wants. And we can check this. So if we look at the Nesk's POV when this is all going on, I don't know if he actually peeks it, but Nesk and Palu, can you see? They cross it. They have no idea. They're just putting bullets into walls. They don't actually know. So they don't actually have a clue who's going where. This sense tech is actually really, really good. Now, Spoit gets an ace this round. Spoilers. But Spoit's making the aggressive play on Ash. This is where being honest, this is where I love to see Spoit play. See how much movement he's got. The Blitz can now, if the Blitz wants, go into Baguette. Doesn't end up doing it. Packer chooses to try and plant in the end. Now, we're going to stay on Spoit as this goes on. And we'll probably watch most of this round in slow-mo. Gunnar checks that Palu is playing long desk. Obviously tracks him. He's going to make Palu move a little bit. So Palu is important, and these guys are important because they're going to try and deny the plant going down on the meeting door. It's very, very obvious right now. And again, Kino is going to use the sense to try and help the plant going down. Now, as we're approaching the first kill that happens, I'm going to go back to Spoit's POV. Holds a very nice, long aggressive angle, and one-taps Nesk off the face. In terms of the kills now, Palu's going to actually find that kill back onto Gunnar. He's just going to swing and get the kill, pick up that kill. Lovely stuff from Palu. But look what's going on now. We roll this back and we check this from a top-down Kino perspective. What we're seeing is they know Palu's there. Obviously, Gunnar's holding him, loses the fight. But at the same time, Packer can waddle into sight. Kino can now throw his sense tech down. And again, it's going to make it very hard to swing. Because in reality, there's a lot of sense that covers all of this stuff. Packer can start planting. In the end, he doesn't actually get away with the plant. It never actually goes down. And I love this from Spoit. I remember talking about it again at the time. Because what M80 are trying to do here is, if Spoit controls long desk, if Kino controls the meeting hallway, Packer can then plant using the sense tech. Ideally, in an ideal world, Gunnar would also be holding this cross here, but it's not happening. That's why you can see Kino getting a little bit active, trying to hold there and there, right? So, obviously, Gunnar's gone down, Diffuser's gone down. It's not ideal, but they're still going to make it work. Why do they make it work? This magical little Swedish man gets himself a double. He's now seen 2, and we'll slow this engagement down because, again, this is pure FPS gunplay. This is just intelligence. Sees one player, misses his bullets. Sees another player, misses his bullets. He now knows that there's 2 people there. He's out of ammo, so Liquid actually commit on the right play. I think it's Lagonis and Maya. They commit on the right play because they know Spoit's shot a lot of bullets. He literally has to reload. He's out of ammo. He has to reload or go to his pistol. What do? They double up on him. What does Spoit do? Changes his angle of approach. Previously, he was stood up. Let's watch it back again slowly. Sorry, previously he was stood. Crouched into stud. Changes gun, goes to prone. Critical here. He expects 2 of them. He expects that they're going to double peek him. First guy off, second guy off. Triple kill, Spoit. So now it's a 3 versus 2. In theory, the plant can start going down, but obviously it's super difficult. And the reason Packer's got off the plant is, in honesty, it's going to be very hard for Kino to hold a double push from Palu and Resets here. And as such, he's gotten off the plant and he's just facing the warden up. Spoit now has full control of top spiral. He's killed the 2 guys, so he can now basically push himself back in. The plant can be reset up, and notice that Packer's changed locations. He was trying to plant tucked inside the door on the left side. He's now trying to plant deep. The reason for that is, if he plants tucked here, it requires people to be in this meeting hallway to hold the swings from multiple angles. And Kino can't physically, I said he can't physically hold 2 angles like that. Or maybe that he can't, but it's not optimal, right? Whereas now, Kino just has to hold 1 angle because Paca's passed that line of sight. So Kino just has to hold the 1 angle. So it's a nice play from Paca and Kino to notice that, reposition that. And then obviously Spoit's going to come back and he's going to help out. And he's going to then come top spiral. That same line of sight that he got the first kill on, he's going to try and use it. Resets, pushes forward. Gets the kill onto Kino. And again, Kino's holding that 1 angle. Loses that fight. Kino's on a skinny. Loses it. So it's still clunky by M80, but it's well thought out. It's just not particularly well executed. As you can see, Kino loses that fight with a DMR to an SMG-12. That means Paca has to get off the plant, and does get off the plant. So it's now Paca and Spoit. Spoit's moved. Again, notice how his first engagement, and this is again something you can take to your ranked games. Look at how Spoit had that little tiff with Palu. This little fight here, he changes. Instead of staying on that same angle that Palu can now pre-fire him on, sprints, goes to a different angle, changes his height constantly, goes and gets the kill onto Palu. That then leaves Resets with a blitz in front of him in terms of Paca and Spoit. But now Spoit just has to cover the angle, cover the plant, because they can bait the defender back to Spoit's line of sight by Paca trying to plant if he wanted to. And notice how Spoit's always, even there, he's thinking, do I change the angle and go here, or do I go back? He ends up going back. And finalizes the kill. That's Spoit getting an ace. And yes, on an individual basis, Spoit has played the FPS element of this game incredibly well. Like, yes, great. But also the tech that was used with the 2 sense lines, with the idea that Paca's going to plant using the sense tech. Obviously, it didn't fully work out. Like, the execute was clunky. It wasn't as in sync as it absolutely possibly could have been. But overall, it was still a great round for M80. This won them the map against Liquid. This propelled them through, you know, into the upper bracket for the playoffs. Yes, it didn't go well from there, but they can definitely be proud of how they played in that group stage and how they played against Liquid on this map.